Hello ladies and G's, after countless fights on all factions both solo and team play, I have designed what is the optimal level for each primary weapon to reach that gives access to the best attachments. This video is all about that. I have divided it into chapters so that you can jump directly to the section you are searching for without having to watch everything. Before we start, I want to point two things so that we can all agree on certain attachment choices. Number one, among the long-range scopes, the ×2 red dot scope is by far the best one. It provides the best clearance and it has good ergonomics. The ×4 could be the most balanced choice, but it will actually try to make you miss your shots. The ×10 for me at least does not provide a so greater magnification to make up for the ergonomics loss. Also, well, they are the only viable option for the Marksman Rifles anyways. Number 2, minimizing horizontal recoil is always the priority for full auto weapons, even above ergonomics. It doesn't matter if you can snap on targets faster if the recoil is not predictable and you miss your shots, right? So, of course the matter is very different if we talk about single shot weapons, for obvious reasons. Okay, so let's start with the assault rifles. I'm gonna put the Liberator family minus the carbine in the exact same slot as they essentially need the exact same attachments to perform in the best way possible. The ×2 red dot, the vertical foregrip, then we go to the muzzle brake and the drum magazine. So yeah, the main bottleneck for both the normal and the penetrator variant is the drum magazine because you will need level 24 to unlock it. As for the concussive, it comes with it stock, so the main bottleneck is the ×2 red dot because it requires level 19. The STA52 is not customizable, so we skip directly to the pacifier with the ×2 red dot again, vertical foregrip for the recoil, and the muzzle brake to minimize horizontal recoil. Here you just need level 19 because yeah, it unlocks again the ×2 red dot. Going forward to the Liberator carbine, and I have separated it from the Liberator family simply because you cannot put the ×2 red dot. That's very unfortunate. So we go with the 1.5, the vertical foregrip again, of course the muzzle brake for minimizing the horizontal recoil, and the drum magazine. And of course, again, the drum magazine will require level 24 to unlock. As for the tenderizer, this has a ton of potential and I like it a lot, but you cannot mod the magazine. So again, the ×2 red dot is stock, vertical foregrip again, and muzzle brake, which is, I believe, is stock. I'm not sure. So yeah, all of this just requires an easy level 7 to get max performance. To end this section, we go to the adjudicator, and this is the most interesting, probably. ×2 red dot, again, vertical foregrip and muzzle brake. This basically, this is the only AR that can mount a 10x scope. So if you really like long-range fighting, you can use it. But for me, the bullet drop-off and damage drop-off at long ranges are stopping me to even try to mount it. My suggestion is to stop at level 6 for this beauty to shine. So now just a quick recap screen for all of the ARs and their respective optimal levels before going forward. The marksman section's gonna be less beefy than the ARs for sure. So starting with the amendment, I gotta admit I was expecting it to perform like shit. However, it proved to be quite decent, and the best attachment here is of course the ×10 in the absence of ×2, and level 23 is required. The constitution, well, you can't modify it, so we're just gonna skip to the Deadeye. So the Deadeye, again, just like the amendment, must mount the ×10 sniper scope, really. The ×4 just sucks. As I previously mentioned, you are gonna miss your shots much more than you're expecting for this. Now let's go to the Diligence. The Diligence is the only DMR that cannot mount neither the ×10 or the ×2. Therefore, we're stuck with the ×4, which sucks. But yeah, being this a single shot weapon, we give it all to the ergonomics with the angled foregrip and of course no attachments on the muzzle. For this, just level 12 is required, but yeah, it's not a long way to go. Jumping to the Diligence Counter Sniper, luckily for us, this comes with the ×10 stock. so which is the usual culprit of long range. And so all we have to do here is remove the muzzle and use again the angle foregrip, and this requires a level 13. So again we go to a quick recap for all the DMRs and their respective optimal levels. Okay, now some machine guns. And yeah, first of all, there's no night. I always keep forgetting about buying the Super Citizen Edition, and now it reached a point where it's simply, yeah, it's not worth it for me anymore. I'll leave this gun to the comment section. If someone wants to bring the best attachments, I would be grateful. Now onto the STA-11, and yeah, this is again Killzone exclusive, so we go directly to the Reprimand, which at the beginning it held the most potential. To me at least, it had the most potential, but I tell you in advance, you cannot modify the magazine, which was the most needed modification. So we go to the we go with the 1.5 tube red dot, the vertical foregrip, and the muzzle brake again. This gun kicks a lot, keep that in mind, but all of this caps up at level 18, so not that big of a grind. However, if the devs decide to put a magazine mode, it's definitely gonna need a drum magazine and probably level 24 again. So yeah, I'm gonna put the Defender and the Pummeler in the same slot as they both need the exact same attachments, the ×2 red dot, the vertical foregrip, the muzzle brake, and of course the drum magazine. Unfortunately, the drum magazine for both of these two guns caps up at level 24, so yeah, you need a long range, and it's not gonna be a pleasure journey really. But anyways, these two, I find those two very lacking in combat, unfortunately. Anyways, recapping the SMGs briefly before jumping onto the shotguns. Shotguns are interesting, as you can find both stock perfect guns and max level grinders. Let's start with possibly the most interesting, the Punisher. A full choke can concentrate a ton of damage in a small radius, so I wouldn't sleep on this gun too much, as it can prove fearsome even on automatons at mid-range. My suggestion here is the 1.5 red dot coupled with the full choke, so just level 12 is needed, which is very bearable. The Slugger, however, is already maxed at stock with the 1.5 red dot. Yeah, if you want the extra 5 ergonomics at level 23, but to me at least, yeah, it's not worth the grind, right? So honestly, I would leave it stock and leave the progression of this gun as last. The same applies to the SG-20 Halt. This is the most technical shotgun because, yeah, you have to alternate stun and flechette rounds. The 1.5 here makes a lot of sense. And again, the iron sight at level 23 to me is not worth it. Then we go to the Cookout. The Cookout, again, can only modify scopes. And the spread is so enormous that probably the 1.5 would not make any difference. So it's up to preference. And the iron sight can make sense here. But again, level 23 looks like a big effort for a very small result. So this guide is all about efficiency. And this is, this is not efficient at all. Now we get into the meat. The Breaker family. So let's dissect the normal Breaker first, the once fallen king of primaries in the old days. As you may know, this thing shines on terminates, and it definitely needs the drum magazine coupled with the angle for grip, iron sight, and the full choke or the duckbill. And it packs a real punch. Even if I have to admit that the duckbill is also quite strong, the drum magazine will make sure you run out of patience by asking for level 24. Yes, of course. Now on to the spray and pray variant. Luckily for us, it comes with the drum magazine stock. So you just need the iron sight if you want to really push it to level 24. But the 1.5 red dot is definitely good. Angle for grip for ergonomics, of course. And the full choke. Here, just level 12. If you don't want to reach for the iron sight, level 12 is the, you know, the cap you have to reach to attach all of these things. Now we get to the incendiary breaker, the monster of crowd control. Honestly, against terminates, this benefits from the duckbill much more than you think. It can set on fire multiple enemies with few shots in an horizontal line. Couple it with the iron sight, no underbarrel, and the drum magazine. Level 24 is the optimal, but again, the 5 ergonomics from the iron sight are not game changing. So you can go until level 23 for the duck build. Yeah, really, this proves to be quite strong in my opinion. Don't sleep on the duck build on the incendiary breaker. So recapping the shotguns before going into the next section. The explosive section is just composed of 2 weapons. The crossbow is already perfect stock. It mounts the 1.5 tube red dot, and we don't have any other, magnified scope. Not the ×2, not the ×4, not the sniper. So the 1.5 is the best here, and it's the only thing you can do. And then level 1 is the best. Then we get to the king of primaries, the King Eruptor. This thing needs all the possible ergonomics. This is probably the only weapon that benefits from having 2 different loadouts. The 2 red dot plus the angled foregrip are best against, automatons or illuminates. If you really want, you can slap in the iron sight if you want to fight terminates for that extra ergonomics. The ×10 sniper scope honestly is not that great because the projectile will explode at I believe 140 meters from the from your barrel, So having a so heavy scope is not useful in my opinion, to be honest. So yeah, the ×2 or the iron sight. This just needs level 19 for this beast to be able to equip all of these things I have mentioned here. The ×4, yeah, don't bother it. I don't like it. And for this gun, it's even less useful than the other guns. Now, just go for a quick recap again. In the energy-based department, usually very few things are modifiable. Let's start with the Punisher Plasma. This thing sucks in every aspect. And yeah, my suggestion is don't touch this gun. If you're really in love with the Punisher Plasma, yeah, there is the iron sight at level 23, but I refuse categorically to grind this thing any further. This thing sucks in every possible aspect. They need to rework this. The plus accelerator rifle is an outgast weapon, so it's not modifiable. The Blitzer is known as one of the best short-range CC guns, and the same rules as the cookout apply. If you really want that extra 5 ergonomics, you just need level 23, but honestly, it just performs pretty much perfectly at level 1, so it's not needed all of the, all of the grind to just 5 ergonomics. Then we get to the, the double, since the introduction of the double-edged sickle, I think you can all agree with me that the normal sickle is basically just buried under a lot of dust. No one uses it anymore, and these 2 guns comes with the best scope, again, stock. So the ×2 red dot is the best one, and it is stock, so it is not needed any progression. I mean, if you really want, you can use the you can grind level 23 for the ×4 combat scope, but I don't like it. It's too messy. The shape, it's too it lacks the precision of the ×2 to me. So yeah, the double-edged sickle definitely performs at level 1, and the normal sickle we can just skip on that. The sight is very interesting though, because as soon as you unlock the high capacity heatsink, you will notice a boost in performance even against automatons. So don't sleep on this. Of course, the angle for grip will come in handy for the ergonomics, and the ×2 red dot is stock. Level 22 is needed for the high capacity heatsink. To end this section, we have the 2 plasma guns, the Scorcher and the Purifier. Unfortunately, you can just modify the scopes and the underbarrel. Both go by the angled foregrip for the ergonomics, and the 1.5 red dot is stock. So it's already the best choice for both of those guns. Level 9 is needed for both of these guns. So yeah, it's just a very short grind here. Let's go for a quick recap on the energy-based weapons and their levels before we go to the next section. The special section has 3 guns only for now, and yeah, as you may know, the Torture has no attachments available. So yeah, nothing here to say. The variable comes in with only scopes, customizable, and the times 2 red dot is stock. So again, level 1 is all you need. You can try different scopes, but I can guarantee you once again that the times 2 is the most consistent and is best performing one. No doubt on that. Dominator is the only one that gives you at least a little bit of freedom, and of course this thing needs ergonomics. So the angled foregrip is the best under barrel. Yeah, I know that the vertical foregrip can remove a lot of vertical recoil, but realistically you're not fighting this full auto. The 1.5 tube red dot is unfortunately the only, the only decent scope. I was hoping for a times 2, but there's no times 2. The times for it is level 24 and it's not worth the grind for all of the aforementioned reasons. So yeah, level 9 here is all you need to just reach its best performance. Fast recap again for all these special guns. Thank you for accompanying me along this big journey, and I hope you can find this video useful, especially if you're a lazy person exactly like me. Thanks, and see you around on the next video.